Hello and welcome to Diabetes Connections in the News. I'm Stacey Sims, and these are the top diabetes stories and headlines of the past 7 days. All sources are linked up at diabetes-connections.com. In the News is brought to you by T1D Exchange. T1D Exchange is a nonprofit organization dedicated to improving outcomes for the entire T1D population. Our top story, Abbott's Freestyle Libre 3 gets FDA approval. This is a 14-day CGM. Abbott says it's smaller and thinner, about the size of 2 pennies stacked up. Abbott claims Libre 3 is the most accurate 14-day CGM based on new results. It's worth noting that there is not another 14-day CGM on the market. Dexcom is 10 days, and the upcoming G7 seems to have similar accuracy. However, Libre is less expensive, and they say there will be no price increase for this new model. Libre has had ICGM designation since the Libre 2, but the FDA says it's still not allowed for use with automated insulin delivery systems. I've asked to speak with Abbott, and we will find out more about why that is and what the company plans to do if it can't integrate with insulin pumps in the U.S. Meanwhile, Dexcom pushes back on talk that it was interested in acquiring Insulet. Here's part of the quote. "It is generally our policy not to comment on rumors or speculation. However, in light of recent sustained media and market speculation, as well as the upcoming American Diabetes Association conference, we wish to confirm that Dexcom is not in active discussions regarding a merger transaction at this time. We do not intend to comment further on this topic. We assume no obligation to make further announcement or disclosure should circumstances change." End quote. I am set to talk to Dexcom CEO at ADA, and I'll definitely ask him about this, even though they say they won't comment further. I do think it's interesting they use the word merger and not also the word acquisition, but the stock market does seem to believe them, and Dexcom went up on this news. New information could link environmental pollution to type 1. New study from Norway says even low concentrations of pollutants can result in cells producing less insulin. New cases in Norway have doubled in children and teens since the 1970s, also up in adults there. This study included samples from American kids as well. Overall, the researchers found a larger proportion of those with type 1 diabetes with these pollutants in their blood. They also found when mice were exposed to the pollutants, insulin production went down. Whey protein may be the next big thing for people with type 2. Drinking a pre-made shot before meals with a low dose of whey seemed to help better control blood glucose levels. In this study, people went about their daily lives, but with no changes except for the drink. Then they spent a week with no whey, all while wearing a CGM. On average, people had 2 additional hours per day of normal blood sugar levels compared to the week they skipped the drink. The researchers believe whey slows down food in the digestive system and also stimulates hormones that help keep glucose from rising. This was a small study, but you can bet you'll be hearing a lot more follow up. It is a simple and promising and inexpensive treatment. It looks like at least one hospital, the pandemic showed telemedicine and CGM use can make a big difference in kids with type 1. This study published in BMC Pediatrics data from Children's Medical Center in Dallas. The number of office visits among patients decreased during the pandemic, but there was no effect on disease management. Both glucose control and hospitalization rates unchanged. The results did highlight existing disparities among patients in minority and low-income demographics. Both before and during the pandemic, Black and Hispanic patients and those without commercial insurance had worse glucose control and higher hospitalization rates. There was a dramatic increase in CGM use by patients without commercial insurance during this time, likely because it was then that CGM was offered to Medicaid recipients in Texas. The researchers believe the increased use of CGM, along with their successful implementation of telemedicine, contributed to preventing worse outcomes in this patient population. Heads up, if you take Ozempic, might want to get that prescription squared away and filled. A, quote, unexpected increase in consumer demand seems to have come because of a TikTok trend. TikTok users have been documenting their weight loss using the hashtag Ozempic, even though it's not approved for that use, only for treatment of type 2. This seems to be more of an issue in Australia and the UK so far. Right back to the news in just a moment. But first, I want to tell you about our sponsor, the T1D Exchange Registry. This is an online research study designed to harness the power of individuals with type 1 diabetes. This is conducted online over time, and it is designed to foster innovation and improve the lives of people with T1D. Your personal information remains confidential. Participation is voluntary. And once enrolled, you complete annual surveys. You also have the chance to sign up for other studies on specific topics related to T1D. By sharing opinions, experiences, and data, patients can help advance meaningful T1D treatment, care, and policy. Sign up at t1dexchange.org/Stacey. That is t1dexchange.org/STACEY. Back to the news. The ADA Scientific Sessions kicks off today and continues through the weekend. I have a virtual press pass for this one, and I'm sure next week's newscast will be chock full of newly released studies. My email is already full of the previews. I wish all of my friends traveling to this first in-person scientific session since, I believe, 2019, a very safe trip. Congratulations to the newest class of diabetes scholars. Beyond Type 1's program awarded more than 50 scholarships to students living with Type 1 in 2022 at over $166,000. These scholarships are made possible by individual donors and partner organizations. New this year, the Lilly Diabetes Tom Shear Policy Plus Advocacy Scholarship. Tom was the CEO of Beyond Type 1 until his sudden death last year. The scholarship in his name is for a student with a strong background in Type 1 diabetes policy and advocacy. By the way, 100% of scholarship funds donated are awarded to the recipients. Beyond Type 1 absorbs all operational costs associated with the program. If you've got a grad for 2023, and oh my gosh, I do, high school graduate, yeah, it's coming up. The link is open for more information for next year. On this week's long format episode, which we released on Tuesday, you can hear about Savannah Johnson's Type 1-way ticket. She was never able to go on these adventure travel programs as a kid. She was diagnosed with Type 1 as a toddler, and she got tired of watching her siblings go on these vacation adventure programs. So when she grew up, she traveled the world on her own and joined programs as an adult, and now she has launched Type 1-Way Ticket Adventure Travel for teens and young adults. It's a great interview. I was really excited to learn more about her, and we love travel. And next week, of course, Dexcom CEO Kevin Sayer. As I mentioned, I'm interviewing him at the ADA Scientific Sessions program, and you can listen to that wherever you get your podcasts, wherever you're listening now. And that's it for In the News for this week. If you like it, please share it. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you back here soon.
Diabetes Connections is a production of Stacey Sims Media. All rights reserved, all wrongs avenged.